All right, so we want to use a stretch for the pec, which will help out the thoracic spine and the shoulder complex, because mind you, the pec major draws the arm across the body, internally rotates, and slightly brings it down into extension. Well, by doing so, it also draws the shoulder blade along with it. And if we look at the actions of the pectoralis minor, it can depress and tilt the shoulder forward. So I end up with kind of this posture. And if we were even to simply kind of take a look at resting posture of the hands and how this relates to the shoulder, if I do have more of this kind of internal rotated slouch position, which albeit from the front may look like more dominant, right? I can get my upper traps to fire, is not a very let's say lucrative position for the shoulder to be in, relatively speaking, if we're talking about the structures that lay atop the shoulder bone, the humerus, or below the shoulder blades kind of shelf we call the acromion. So there's a bursa and there's a tendon in there that can easily become impinged when I am internally rotated, simply because I'm biomechanically aligning them underneath the boniest structure, whereas if I externally rotate, I'm getting them out of the way. So this is a traditional pec stretch. Just like we looked at that rotational stretch on the ground, my hand can start behind my head, or I can use a longer lever. So I'll first start with a short lever. My elbow's pitched here. I'm gonna be basically like if I was in a thrower stance, right? So from here, I'm gonna take a good deep breath in, try to fill the belly if I can, blow the air out, and rotate. And what I should feel here is essentially just a pull all along that kind of pec fiber. I'm not necessarily doing a low pec stretch. This is kind of more for the fibers that connect down here onto the actual sternum and the abdomen. I'm not really getting much of the actual costal margin of the pec, but if I extended the lever arm, I can do this with a bit more emphasis. But mind you, I always want to start off with that scapular retraction, like if I'm going to throw, and then again I can just extend the lever. If I wanted to get more of the central pec fibers, that position would just start down here, then again increase the lever. If I wanted to get more of the actual pec minor, I'd be further down here, and then again increase the lever and have that pull. It's important to note that if you do some breathing with it, it definitely does help once that tissue is already on stretch, because mind you, you can influence further stretching the pec by elevating the ribs by inhalation. So if I take a big deep breath in, not through the belly though, but through up here through the chest, I'll get a stronger kind of stretch. I can hold the position. I can blow the air out. That usually lets me go a little further. Okay? And those are some variations to that stretch where I can work along the entire pec, and now, relatively speaking, have more of a compliant, right, pec to allow scapular retraction and a whole lot less of that forward protraction.